Engaging young audiences in remote observing, a case study with Serol's Cosmic Explorers. Hi, I'm Alice and I work for Las Cumbres Observatory as part of the education team. LCO is a global robotic telescope network made up of 25 telescopes at 7 sites around the world. These are used for both scientific research and education projects. Our education network is made up of 10 0.4 meter telescopes. In general, many education projects using robotic telescopes are aimed at older students. These projects are often research-based and technically complex. However, using robotic telescopes can provide hands-on experience with astronomy that can also benefit and inspire younger audiences of around the ages of 7 and upwards. Enabling children to take their own pictures of space can help give them a sense of agency in their astronomy learning, which leaves a lasting impression. Robotic telescopes can help create excitement around space and science and improve confidence with scientific thinking. With only internet access required to use these telescopes, this can open up the opportunity for people of all ages and experiences to get involved with observing. At LCO, Serol's Cosmic Explorers is an education program we created to make robotic observing accessible and enjoyable for children and audiences without prior astronomy knowledge. Here I will discuss the practical and generalizable elements of our approach, using Serol's Cosmic Explorers as a case study. For young audiences, there are a lot of things to consider when creating an observing project. Most importantly, we can't assume any prior knowledge of the subject. What remote observing is, for example, how it works, and how it fits into the study of space, needs to be introduced in an intuitive way. As a consequence, user tasks for the observing process should be kept simple and enjoyable, and the user interface needs to be streamlined to avoid getting hung up on prohibitive technical details related to collecting space images. As an example, for Serol's Cosmic Explorers, a selection of appropriate targets were pre-prepared with more complex parameters such as filters and exposure times already determined behind the scenes. This way, there is no need for the user to see or input this unfamiliar technical information. In addition, as we assume the user doesn't have any prior astronomy knowledge, we need to guide them through the observing process by providing a strong modular structure to the project. However, within this structure, still allowing the user some agency and choice can help to keep them immersed. In the case of Serol's Cosmic Explorers, we split the observing up into missions and challenges. We grouped types of astronomical objects together into missions, which encompassed a larger astronomy theme, and within those we had challenges. Each challenge would focus on a specific type of astronomical object, such as a nebula or spiral galaxy. Information is then provided on the type of object, and the user can choose from a selection of suitable targets to take a picture of. To help inform their choice, some interesting information is given about the object. Once they've chosen, all they have to do is click Take Picture, and they've officially made an observation request. Through participation in an observing project, a user often takes their own images. Seeing what you've taken is exciting and inspiring on its own for younger audiences, but we also want to expand on this by helping them learn more about the objects they've captured. Even simple prompts and probing questions can spark a user's curiosity. In Serol's case, we guided the analysis through questions and multiple choice answers. In this way, encouraging the user to consider certain aspects within their images can help them to start thinking scientifically about these observations. To further increase engagement and retain the interest of a young audience, you can incorporate some aspects of gamification. For Serol, we used badges, with a new badge unlocked after every challenge is successfully completed. We included a progress page to view all badges obtained, as well as an option to review all images taken. This serves as a nice reminder of your progression and achievements so far, and creates some additional incentive for the user to continue with the project to unlock a full collection. In general, you want your project rewards to excite the user so that they remain engaged in learning. Making sure you have a friendly, clear style and theme for the educational program is important. This can be achieved using fun graphics and colours, as well as creating characters which children can feel engaged with. Anthropomorphized characters can be particularly engaging for children. For Serol's Cosmic Explorers, the main character is a robot who is a personification of the scheduling software. We also created anthropomorphized telescopes and used these characters to tell informative stories. It can be engaging to use storytelling, for example through video animation, as a way to disseminate important information relating to the topics of your project. We created animated videos that help set the scene for the missions the user will go on. These stories and the theme of the observing process all work together to create a friendly atmosphere that encourages exploration and frames learning and observing as a fun journey. Furthermore, it is helpful to place the observing project in a self-contained learning environment, where everything needed is readily available in one place. For younger audiences, combining this narrative content with the practical tasks for the project can provide a cohesive and enjoyable learning experience. Incorporating multiple mediums for learning can further improve this self-contained educational environment. For Serol, alongside the observing missions and the videos, we also included printable activities such as 3D models and colouring sheets, a video game, and workshops. In general, creating workshops and activities to go alongside the observing project can be great if someone wants to incorporate observing into a classroom environment. These materials can add extra content and context for those who want to dive a little deeper into astronomy. In summary, it might be helpful to consider the following key points when creating a remote observing project for children. Don't assume knowledge and make the program intuitive to use. Give the user agency within a clear structure. Guide analysis with reflective questions. Consider rewards and incentives through gamification. Utilize storytelling to disseminate scientific content, with animated videos and anthropomorphized characters, for example. And create a self-contained learning environment with a consistent theme. Thanks for listening, and I hope these points might provide a practical starting point for designing future remote observing projects for younger audiences. And I'll leave some details up on the screen in case you want to find out more. Thanks again!